Hello, good afternoon, good evening to all our followers out there. My name is Pele Voncujovi, and today we are starting our Sunday Revolution question session with Christopher Voncujovi and all the other members at the shrine. So, here we go. Hello, Christopher Voncujovi.
Hi, this is Christopher Voncujovi, and father of Sena and Pele.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And happy fathers to all the fathers that are out there. Wish you all the best. You are all great fathers.
All right. So this week, we asked a couple of our followers to post a few questions that they would like to learn more about in Voodoo. And so I guess we're just going to get right to it. So first, we have a question from Sedem Amuzu.
Sedem Amuzu.
Yes. And he is asking, what are herbal baths? And we're going to try and keep the questions relatively short, and so we're going to go ahead and ask, what are herbal baths?
Just like the name indicates, herbal bath. You use herbs to prepare a bath for yourself.
And what
the question, herbal bath. You use herbs to prepare a bath for yourself, either to cleanse yourself or to get yourself out of a particular situation. Herbal baths are used for cleansing.
Okay. Apart from cleansing, what are some other uses it can be?
For herbal bath?
Yes.
Oh, herbal bath is mainly for cleansing, because if a person is sick and the person needs a herbal bath to ward off whatever energy, negative energy is following him or her, it is also to cleanse, just to remove whatever is following the person or whatever energy is disturbing the person. So it is cleansing in general.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a question from Kimberly Robinson.
From where? We want you to mention the place you are asking questions from.
Okay, she seems to be
in the US.
Maybe US, yeah. Okay, so she's asking, how much can people do on their own without a priest or an initiate?
Oh, it's just a question that how much can you do if you don't study computer? If you don't know anything about computer, how much can you do? You need to be taught. You need to be guided in the beginning, and then from there you can proceed. But without knowing anything, how can you do? What can you do?
Right. So
if you go and buy a computer from your shop or from the shop, yes, you can open it. All that you can do is to open it. And maybe you know how to type already, or go on Facebook or go on social media. That's it. But if you want to do really well with this, you must know what. You must be guided by somebody, or at least by some books that can give you guidance. Yeah.
Okay, so if we know very little, you can do little.
Yes.
And the more you know, the more you can do. And proper guidance is helpful in that. She also asked Kimberly Robinson that, do people practice in conjunction with other traditions? She has never heard of a voodoo priest practicing others at the same time.
No, when you see voodoo, when people say voodoo, what does it mean? This is where the whole world is, or most people. What is voodoo? Voodoo means spirit. As simple as that. If Japanese are doing their traditional Shinto, if we as an Ebe people want to say, who say that's Japanese voodoo? If the Chinese are doing their traditional practices, if you ask every man what those people are doing, so the Chinese are doing their voodoo. So when you see that, when you say voodoo is only practiced by people, no. Voodoo is a general name for spirit in Ebe.
Okay.
So someone can be an Ebe voodoo priest, but maybe he learned something about Sufi, which is the mystical aspect of Islam. Or maybe he added something from Hinduism by getting something from Tantra or whatever. Because even what the voodoo we are doing in Africa, the Indian man will call it Tantra. They may not call it voodoo, but they will call it Tantra. So it is not true.
So you were a yogi, you were practicing in India for some time.
I was a tantric yogi.
And were you practicing voodoo as well at the time?
No. I wasn't practicing my local every practices, because I was learning something new. And it is after all these things that I have acquired and came back home, that's why I built my own shrine, inculcating all the knowledge that I gather from all fields to teach what I teach.
So, in Ghana here, do you know of many Vodou practitioners that maybe practice Islam or Christianity as well at the same time?
So many. Adewale. Adewale. Who know Adewale now is what is he has a new name. Josiah Alonyo. He's a Muslim. He's a Vodou priest. And there are so many Christians who are also kind of Christians. In the Eve, especially in Togo, we say Joseve Memile. We are in two beliefs. Ebovide, Mauvide, Ebovide means small of Christianity and small of tradition. That's what it is. So there are so many people, even if they will not come out openly to say that they are practicing tradition, a lot of the churches, priests, pastors are practicing Vodou. My shrine here, I've been getting so many people coming in here, Reverend fathers, Catholic Church fathers, Reverend ministers, evangelists, and call them. But they are in Christianity. But they don't openly say that they are practicing or they are getting knowledge from tradition, because a lot of people feel that when they say Vodou, it is evil. But the wise people, they know that it is knowledge and wisdom, and they go for it.
Okay, thank you. So now we have a question by Shaggy Kwashigan, and he says, on the scale of 1 to 10, how much trust can one put in Afa readings, assuming we're dealing with the best Afa diviner out there?
You cannot say that you are dealing with the best Afa diviner. Afa is Afa. When the oracle falls, it depends on who is interpreting it, the stories in it. That is what will tell you whether the reader is perfect or is not perfect. But also, there are days that are not good. People's personal emotions can also come into a reading, the reader's reading. If the reader is not in a very good mood before he is doing a reading for you, you can't expect the best out of him. Because we are talking about psychic power and mental power. When you are mentally disturbed, physically, mentally, spiritually, you are not balanced. So when you want to put it on a scale 1 to 10, it's neither here nor there. A diviner can be a good diviner today. Tomorrow you may get to him, he is not good, depending on what his moods are. So I cannot say that you put it on a scale. Yes, because even mathematicians, they make mistakes.
Right. Yeah, I think there's also his relation or her relationship with her spirits at the time. Yes. Because at the end of the day, diviners are also just human beings. They make mistakes and their energy levels change. Right. And their vibrations can be influenced by many other things as well. Yes. Oh, hello, we have Shamba Musa Mohammed here, Felix Badinho, and he's a big fan.
One of our biggest fans.
Yes.
I know Shamba Musa.
Yes, and he's an incredible drummer too, so welcome. Cornelia
welcome to
Nuchuga.
Our weekly session. Musa, how are you?
Yes.
Hope everything is going on well for you, and happy Father's Day to you.
All right. So, okay, one person is asking here, how can one invoke a spirit into a talisman? So how do you empower a talisman or an amulet?
Okay, you can say invoking a spirit into a talisman, but then we say you are empowering the talisman. First, you must have the capacity of being able to invoke the energy and be able to pass it on into whatever, either into another human being or into a talisman. But if you don't have the power and the knowledge of even invoking the spirit, how can you put it into a talisman to work.
Okay.
Because talismans are herbal based, combination of different herbs, or maybe one single herb makes a talisman. But you must know the secret of that herb, and you must know which name to call for the herb to activate it.
Which animal to kill?
Which animal to kill for it, to activate it, so that the spirit will know that you have now put him in charge of this particular work. But talismans do different works. All of them don't do the same thing.
Okay. We have a couple talismans there. Papa, can you show us a talisman of your own liking?
Yes, I'm going to see. We have this one called Zadandikpe. But person say bonovie pe de do. Magati novio pe yume. I de pe home. Against tubu. It's for against accident. And to make this talisman, you pick things that happen when an accident occurs. A major accident is not like one car, especially an accident that involves more than 2 or 3 cars. The broken glasses and all the things that spill over there is what you go and pray to pick them, add some herbs to it, and you make this talisman to protect you from accidents.
Sometimes you could even Sometimes we could even take like the cloth.
Yes, that's what it's called in Catholicism relic. It's called in Christianity or in Catholic relic. The dead person's clothing or whatever, you add them to bring that person's that person who died a traumatic death spirit to come here and work. And that's the work of Akain. He is the one in charge of people who died traumatic death. He controls these energies in the afterworld, in the psychic plane. So he makes them to give them peace as well as to send them to work.
Okay. So now we have a question coming from Iris Deuce Mawate Makeda. She's Duce. Sorry.
Deuce is from Mali or Senegal or something.
I don't know, even the Makeda looks like it's Japanese, but who knows?
Oh, no, I know her too.
So she's coming in from Accra. You're welcome.
She's calling from Accra?
Yes, she's checking in from Accra.
Okay. I communicated with her recently.
Okay. So she's asking if anyone can pour libation, and is it wrong for a woman to pour libation when she is on her monthly flow?
No, there is nothing, because when you everybody can pour libation, because libation is just simply praying to your ancestors and calling them to come and assist you and guide you and make your pathways straight. So what about if you are in your menses and the bad things are happening to you? Should they let you die or let the bad thing happen to you? No, you can pray and can pour libation at any time. There is only certain times in our tradition that when they want you to go into to a shrine, there are certain spirits who doesn't want a woman when it's in her menses to approach, because naturally it is assumed or known that menstruation is cleansing of the blood and the body. That's why that bad blood flows out and rejuvenates the person. Right? That's why it's on monthly basis for women. So during that time, it is believed that you are passing through your unclean moment, or you are cleansing yourself. So certain spirits do not want you to come closer to them. So that's why sometimes to certain shrines or part of the shrine, you don't go when you are in your menses. Apart from that, you can do any other thing, because you can pray in your house, you can do everything. There's nothing that stops that.
Okay, someone also asked, I'm not sure who it was, but someone had asked on Facebook, he was advised not to eat food cooked by women on her menstruation if you have akpo.
Yes, we, the priests, sometimes we are told that when a woman is, just like what I was explaining, when a woman is in her menstrual cycle, she is unclean. So the vibrations that is flowing through her when she cooks food those vibrations will go into the food, because life is waves. Everything in the universe is all just waves and vibrations. So an angry person will emanate an angry vibration. That's why for me, even when a person is angry and cook food, I will not eat. Because the moment I eat it, I'll start having stomach problem. Because the person's anger goes into the food that the person is preparing. So it is also advisable to mostly priests, not only when you have a home, but mostly to priests, that when a woman is in her menstrual cycle, especially in your house.
What if it's her house? If you are living with...
No, I'm not even talking about, when I say in your house, whether in her house or in your house, what it means is that knowingly that this woman is under menstruation and you ask her to come and cook food for you, or she cook food and you eat. But when you go out, there are plenty of women there who are in their menstrual cycle, you don't know. They are selling food. So you don't know, your mind doesn't see it. So spirits will take it that because you don't know, it's okay. But knowingly and by giving a warning and caution that don't eat because it is unclean.
Okay. And so in those times, maybe you would cook instead for her.
But then also that's why in Africa, our tradition, not only priests, they have 2 wives mostly. And people don't understand the concept of polygamy sometimes. They think it's just that the man wanted 2 or 3 or 4 wives. Sometimes this also is part of it. That if one woman is in her menstrual cycle, the second one always changes. So in Vodou, we use chameleons if we want to change situations from one to the other.
Okay. Chameleons. Okay. So we have another question here. Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question. Someone asked earlier that if they don't have African ancestry, for example, can they still practice voodoo? And what role does the bloodline?
Well, don't they have ancestors? Voodoo is not only limited to Africa or to the Ebe. As I said earlier from the beginning, voodoo is spirit. Once you are born into this world, whether you are a green man, a yellow man, a blue man, a white man, or a black man, or no color man, so long as you are born into this world, you have an ancestry. You came from somebody. And those people are your ancestors. And those are the people you call, because they are the ones whose DNA is running in you. So they are you are their continuity. They are the ones you invoke to help you, to move you forward. It has nothing to do with the black ancestry to be a voodoo person.
Okay. All right. I have a couple people. If anyone has any questions, please post them up here.
We have a very short section today.
Yes. So what are we? I guess. Oh, we have Chisomo Billy. Chisomo's my friend from UWC Costa Rica.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome, Chisomo. So he just got his masters. So congratulations.
Wow. Got a masters already. How come?
Because he finished school last year, and I think it was yeah, very, very quick. Smart guy from Malawi.
Wow.
Yes.
Chisomo, you're welcome to African Magic Temple and Revolution interview session or live session.
Okay.
What is this? What is your question?
Okay. Over here, someone asks, he says a friend did some voodoo for him before for fighting and chewing blade and glass years ago. Will it still work? Because I didn't test it.
So if you have a gun that shoots and you have kept it for so long, whether it is eroded, what do you call it?
Rusted.
Rusted and all these things. How can you know when that gun can shoot or not? Until you test it, you cannot tell.
So are you suggesting that this person who has not tested this voodoo for years should test it?
To test it? Of course, you must test it, because if you don't test it, how will you know?
So
knowledge, if you gather knowledge, you are going to school. If they don't give you test in the examination, or how will you know what you are studying? You know it or you don't know it.
So he should go and chew a blade.
I'm not the one who taught him. the person who taught him, he should contact the person and ask the person whether that chewing of blade is still okay or not.
Yes, because I guess for me to chime in here.
I don't want to say that they go and eat a blade and then they say it is African Magic Temple, so we should go and eat blade. The person who taught him, he should contact the person and ask the person, can I still use it? And the person will give him advice on that.
Yes, because I think Vodus are definitely very much at least alive, and that they need to be maintained, and you have to have a relationship with them. So
Voodoo is like a battery, like a torchlight battery, like a car battery, like a telephone battery. If you don't keep using them and they are sitting down idle, they will die. They will not work.
So I guess with this comment by Amegbo Lauren Patrick, Amegbo, if you haven't tested it and it's been quite a while, I would caution you against going to chew glass or a blade.
He is very right.
And you should go back to the person who gave it to you to try and see if the voodoo could still be alive. So I guess this leads to our next question. How do we test if a voodoo is alive?
Okay. When they say voodoo, which means spirit, some are just Gbesa. They're just words. Some, they make a something for you, either a talisman or give you something to hold. But most voodoo is just Gbesa. And what is Gbesa? Gbesa is mantra in Hinduism. Now when you bring it into Hebrew or Judeo-Christian term, they will say holy name. But in our language, we call it Gbesa. Just a word you say, or a couple of words, or some incantations that can make changes in nature. So when you are saying that, how can a person know? What's the question? Get to know.
Is that how do you test?
Yeah, you have to use the Gbesa and see whether it is still potent. The potency is in the using.
So it's to assign it various different tasks.
Definitely. Because if you have a Gbesa, they say that you can break a coconut with one blow. And if the coconut is there and you are here, and you say I get Gbesa, you start talking and you didn't strike the coconut, how will you know whether the Gbesa will break it or not? You must try it, and if you try it and it has broken, then you know that the Gbesa they gave you is working. But just by sitting down, like people look into books and assume that they themselves become spiritualists. Just by reading books, they immediately begin to assume that they too they are spiritualists. Or they have visited some spiritual place and see people doing things. When they go back home, they themselves they assume that they are also spiritualists. And so many people are doing that kind of thing, and many of them are on the internet making noise, showing that they know spirituality.
So I have a question. I guess when it comes to testing the Gbesa, I guess maybe with a spirit like breaking a coconut, it can be tested immediately. But the talisman you showed us earlier, which is supposed to protect you from an accident, for example, we can't go and test that. Until it happens.
Right. Until accident happens, you can't test it. But when you are being given the talisman, and they give you the seed, which connects you to the spirit that is controlling the talisman.
What seed would that be?
That is the paradise seed. People call it Atakwi. People are calling it Atari. This is book.
Trying to find some. It's also known as alligator pepper.
Yeah, people call it alligator pepper. People call it this one. I'm always with one. This is a book. This one. Person put it inside his mouth and talk one word for you. If you don't take that, you run into the bush. Like a joker. And then the joker uses Gbesa to work. The joker uses Gbesa to work. It's the Gbesa who makes the joker to be seen. Yeah. So,
okay.
So here, when you are given a talisman, you must be introduced to the talisman by being given the seeds that you will swallow. Then they give you the Gbesa or the incantation or the mantra or the holy words that goes with that spirit, whereby you call the name of the spirit and the spirit will respond. It's just like human beings. If you are walking and supposing you are called Kofi, and you are walking and somebody is calling you Kweku, 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 you can never turn your face towards that person. But if they say Kofi, whether the person is calling you or is not calling you, when they say Kofi, you turn around and see whether you know who is calling. Right. That is how Vodou is. That's how Gbesa is. That's why that's how Talisman is. And so when you are being introduced into a spirit, you must be introduced properly by giving by the person who is introducing you, giving you the seeds to swallow and making you to say the incantation or give you the incantation so that you know what incantation to use. And once you use that one, the spirit knows that he has got a relationship with you, and his presence will be there when you needed him or her.
And I guess the relationship between you and that spirit is also to be cultivated over time,
yes, because
and to be strengthened.
When you make a friend for the first time, you will just be high, and then if you continue talking with each other, then sometime you will come to associate and maybe go to places. You go to places together, you share things together, then you become more close. And if you call on that friend one day that, oh, Charlie, I need this also, where are you? Okay, I'm coming. Then if you don't have establish that relationship with a friend, just like in the spirit world, if you don't establish a very good relationship with a spirit or a spirit friend, how do you expect to call upon it to be able to help you or assist you in times of need?
Right. Okay. Oh, we have even here Edward Craig is coming in from Puerto Rico.
Hello, Baba.
He says hello, Togbui.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yes.
He's
here online. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, Edward Craig, you're welcome.
Happy Father's Day. I sent you a Father's Day this morning.
Yeah. Yes.
And I received yours too. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So now we have a question from Shamba Musa Mohammed. He's asking, how can I know the difference between when Spirit sends messages to me and when it's just my own voice in my head?
That's why I had Sena discussing that once in some of his teachings. That, when you are doing a spiritual work, and the moment you prepare yourself to do the work, it should be open. Usually the first information, you must trust your instincts. That first information is usually the information coming from the inner self. But then when you doubt it and you want to use your human judgment, that is when you miss. So try to listen to your inner self, your instincts, and spirits will talk to you, and you will know which one is right and which one is not right. And also you should have some physical thing to recheck, like a cowries, where that cowrie is also prepared with heads that talk. We have certain heads we call talking heads. Means they can make spirits speak through the cowrie. So that has to be infused into the cowrie, so that when you are about to it's here.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are cowries that is empowered, and you take the cowries that is to recheck what your instinct is saying, and if you are doubting it, you have a cowrie to check, and you ask the question. When you throw the cowrie, if in this form, like this, 3 down, 1 up, it says no. These are prepared cowries, even though I'm not asking any question, just teaching. Then you throw it. When it comes in this form, 2 up, 2 down, which means yes. So you must recheck your answers from the feelings or the instinct that is coming to you. Then you can be able to know whether spirits are talking to you or they are not talking to you. And the cowries are prepared alongside spirits. It's not just cowries in the air. Maybe you have this spirit, and they'll prepare its cowrie for you. So when you are getting the spirit information, you ask the cowrie that you have to ask the spirit if what you are hearing or listening to or is acting is what is coming into your mind, is it good? And when you throw it and the spirit say yes, then it's like this one is a big yes, because all the 6 that I threw has all come up. So you need also to have the cowries that are prepared for divination. We don't just buy any cowrie in the market and start throwing them and think that you have a messenger who can bring a message between you and the gods.
Okay. All right. So now switching gears, I guess we're going now to Nana Somwa HPT from Bronga Hafo, Ghana. And it says, what's the ideal way to pray? What exactly do I have to say to make my prayers effective?
First thing is to know what you are praying to. When you want to pray to a spirit, you must know about the spirit. When you want to pray to your ancestors, you must know who your ancestors are. You don't just pour drink or libation, so ancestors come and drink. Who is that ancestor you are calling?
What if you don't know their names?
Oh, you know your father's name. Even if you don't know your father's name, you have a name. You have a family name. Don't they have family? Yeah, if your family is called Achampo, let's say Achampo from Kotoku. So you are praying and say, oh, I call the name of my ancestors from the Achampo family of Kotoku. Come and have a drink. Or your ancestor is Chungwan J. Let's say so he's somewhere in China, whether that is the name or not. So you are from Chu and Chen family in China, maybe from somewhere in China. So if your name is Chu and Chen, so you know why that Chu and Chen family comes from. At least you were told.
What if you weren't? For example, I'm thinking, let's say, brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
But they have they don't need necessarily to pray to African ancestry here to have ancestors. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not that you have to know where you come from in Ghana or Togo, but at least your grandfather from your father or grandfather from your mother are people who were just within the short time that you can find out. Okay? Even if you had been an adopted child, let's say that you have been adopted and you don't know who your ancestors are, then at least the people who had brought you up had taken care of you. They had taken care of you physically when they were alive. So their line becomes your line somehow. Because when we talk about ancestors worship or praying to ancestors or pouring libation, we are trying to link ourselves with the people who had imparted on us in their lifetime before we were born or after we were born. We are trying to just to connect on the psychic plane so that we can let them support us from the psychic plane. So it is not that people say, I don't know my ancestor, means you have to look back 1,000 years and see where your great-grandfather. Yes, it's good to do that, but if you don't know, at least you have people that you can call father or mother.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now Edward Craig was asking that he'd like for you to maybe share the story of your incense, that he loves them. So he wants to hear about your incense.
Yes, there is a special incense that we prepare at the African Magic Temple. It's a very powerful incense. It's what do you call it? It's a custom-made incense prepared here at our shrine. And I think Edward Craig had experienced with it. We sent some to him some time back to awaken when your spirits are kind of inactive. I won't say dead. When your spirits are inactive and you are trying to communicate with them, but you are not getting the communication as you wanted. We prepare incense with all kind of things, with all herbs and all many things, and also there is a chameleon also is part of that incense, and we also use certain things that can overcome or repel witchcraft and all these things. So, and a whole lot of things have been put into it. I can't mention everything here. This was taught by my old man, Tuji, and this is the incense that we use for awakening the spirits. Like this morning, I was praying to all the spirits, and we make Adzor, meant to fumigate. And this incense is also used sometimes for cleansing, when you want to cleanse your aura. Just for cleansing your aura. Once you use it, it opens, it becomes clear, your doors are open, and people who are also doing business, or me, I use it every day of my life to fumigate myself, so that whatever negativity is trying to engulf me will be gone. So I will be fine.
Okay.
So we will be making this incense available to our followers at a very minimum price in the near future. We will also be making a black powder that is to repel witchcraft and get you out of the hands of witches sometime. We will be making that one, and we will be making herbal baths. As somebody was asking what are herbal baths, we are going to make a package of herbal baths, and at a reasonable price we will post it and send it to our followers and people around the world to use,
who are interested
to use and change their situation in which they are.
Okay, and I guess we'll be starting to wrap this up quite soon. One interesting question we saw here was, what do you see as the future of this great tradition 15 years on in the West and at home? And finally, what role does African Magic Temple play in this future?
Who is asking that question?
This is an incredible question by Derek Murray.
Derek, how are you? It's been a while, but I know we are on Facebook every day together, so yeah, that's good. African Magic Temple has started almost 22 years ago in Ghana. Then prior to that, I had always had my shrine wherever I had been in the world, and I had always used it and do things for myself and close friends. Since we returned to Ghana 22 years ago, I had continued doing it, and this is how far it has come that we are beginning to get this global view, and people from the global, from the world getting to know us. My plan and the plan of African Magic Temple is to keep this tradition growing for those who are interested in nature. We as African Magic Temple and Revolution, we want to be the last resort for people who are still interested in nature. The few people who still have interest in nature and want to preserve nature. So we will continue, and we need your support. All those who are interested in preserving nature should come on board. If one person can impact another one person with our tradition, and that person can also impact another person, if we go that way, with time, I think our children and our grandchildren will begin to understand that the black man, the African, also has a very authentic way of serving God, which is Vodus and Afa. Yeah.
Okay, and I guess just to add to that, I think what African Magic Temple, right now we're trying to create, or we're in the process of trying to design a gallery space at our shrine where people will be able to come and learn just very quickly, not very in-depth. And you don't have to be a practitioner. Of anyone who has interest to come to our shrine and come and learn from our gallery space, and also maybe engage in our shrine tour. We conduct shrine tours where different schools and different programs come, and then we teach them about voodoo. We show them our films, and then we try and just give them like a general understanding, because we notice a lot of people are interested but don't have the avenue to even start learning. And that's why I think in the future we would try and be one of the leading figures, at least in Ghana, the gateway to people within Ghana, people outside of Ghana, to try and learn more about voodoo. And yes, that's...
If you are visiting Ghana and you are interested in African or Ewe traditional voodoo, if you are in Ghana, you can call on us. We can give you a tour. You can prepare your questions and come and ask us, and we will answer you. We are always here for you.
Yeah, and maybe in the future, one day we can have maybe thinking in terms of education, incorporating traditional, or at least the deeper knowledge of traditional spirituality into the education system in Ghana. I think would be
when we get a good leader.
Yeah,
that will happen.
That's in. Well, the society would also have to gradually be shifting towards.
Society is shifting slowly and slowly. I'm even surprised that a lot of people are getting interest in this our tradition. Before, it was very difficult for people even to talk about this tradition, or even ask you questions, or even interview you about our tradition, because they feel that if they do, other people will go against them. So even if they have the interest, they don't really ask the question. They are kind of afraid. But now people come openly and ask these questions, and the media is coming, schools are coming, individuals are coming. We have been interviewed here and there, and it is no more a taboo to mention that I am a voodoo priest, or I am an Ifa priest. Before, it was very difficult for people even to say that they were voodoo practitioners. It was only limited to people who are not highly educated in the Western form system of education. See, a lot of time people think that by going to classroom, which is the Western form of education, is all that learning and school is about. Voodoo is a very big school. To be able to get all these names in your mind and be able to invoke and know the herbs that do what they do is a very major school. So it is with Ifa or Afa. And if you see an Afa priest, what they can remember, the songs, the stories, the herbs, the rituals, the animals, in one oracle that falls. And they have over 265 oracles, and they memorize all this. Man, it is not comparable to Western education at all. But since we have been shortchanged and limited by saying that because it is African traditional spirituality, it is evil, people don't see it as knowledge. But I wish and hope that this is the time when you have interest to know about yourself, know about your culture. Come forward. African Magic Temple is here for you.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna just kind of pick out of the questions we have here from our viewers. Someone says, do you know about Yeve in Ewe land, and does that have anything to do with the Israelite god Yahweh?
No. See, the Ewes who Ewes never said that they were Israelites, and Yeve is the core of all the Ewes, because the word Ewe is coming out of Yeve. We don't have anything to do with Israelites. If Ewes had passed through Israel and have left some of their information with the Israelites, yes, but the Ewes are not Israelites. I refuse to accept that.
No, they are not saying that they are. He are asking if Yahweh has any similarity with Yahweh at all.
Maybe the word Yahweh and Yahweh, but we are calling Yahweh, we can never call it Yahweh. So why they are calling it Yahweh, we don't know. Because some people are saying that Yah, which means where, did or does or do. Yahweh. That's what people are saying, that the word Yahweh. But the word is not Yahweh only. It is really, actually, it's a four-lettered word. When you do Kabbalah, you begin to understand it. It has no direct descent with Eve, Yahweh. The word is Yod, He, Vav, He, which people began to call Jehovah, and all this thing, and then it becomes Yahweh. So the word is Yod, He, Vav, He. It is a word that is usually vibrated to draw the Ein, O, Sof together. Study some Kabbalah, you understand what I am saying.
Okay. And what does the Yah, He, Wo, He mean?
Yod, He, Vav, He.
What does that mean?
Jehovah. It is a four-lettered word. There is a word, each word will vibrate and it creates changes in the universe or in the atmosphere. You draw the energy of creation together.
Okay. All right.
It is in Kabbalah. So people who will have interest to learn some Kabbalah, you can see some similarities in every Vodou practices. I am not into Yahweh because I'm not from the my ancestors did not practice Yahweh.
Okay.
As I know. So, but I know about Yahweh, but I am not into Yahweh. So, I don't really talk much about Yahweh until I become part of it. I talk about what I know. There's another question.
I guess someone has asked here, how true is spiritual money?
No, we don't know it. We are not a bank. I always tell people, we are a spiritual center. We are not bank. If people want money, they should go to bank. They give loan.
Yeah. Okay. Someone asked, I guess they missed when we were explaining the alligator pepper on the table. Can you just briefly go over what alligator pepper does?
Yes, alligator pepper, which we call in Ewe Atakwi. Some people call it Adivi. Some people call it Veve. They are all Ewe words because Ewe has so many dialects in it. So depending on the area you are coming from, the name. So alligator pepper, okay, I'll put it back, but we have the shell of this one, which some people call it paradise seed or seeds of paradise. The Nigerians are call it atari. We call it aduve in my central area, and people call it atapi, and some people call it veve. It's like the SIM card that is given to you between you and the spirit to have a communication, to establish a relationship between you and the spirit. And this is what is used in Vodou, in Joka, in Gbesa. I don't know, in Afa, it's also used. But then in Afa, it is used in a three different ways. We have Ata, a V, Orobo, making the Trinity. We have, this is the Ata. And then we have a cola nut, which have 4 phase, 3 phase, 5 phase, 7 phase. We call it a V. And then we have a bitter cola, O, or Orobo. So in Afa, Ata, Kui is also used, but it is used in conjunction with these three or in combination with these three, Ata, Bilobo. And then it also empowers a spirit or whatever you are doing to give you power. So it is just what is given to establish a relationship between an individual and a body.
Okay, sweet. Someone asked, what is the Supreme God's name?
There's no supreme God's name.
Okay.
There's no supreme God's name. Why do I say there's no supreme God name? Because every culture has the name for God. So what name are you going to call that as its supreme God's name? If you are from Kotokoli land, will you call God Mau?
Okay. So there is no supreme God's name. God's names comes in all forms. Alfred Lamte is asking, does rituals for money exist?
It doesn't exist in our shrine. And those who say they can make rituals for money, if there are really rituals for, if there are really rituals for money, the person who can make that ritual for money, why he did not make it for himself and become rich? Me, I can get money and then I'll go and give it to you. Why should I give it? If I can make money for myself, why should I give you?
Right.
For us, what I have studied around the world for all these years, I'm sorry to say I have been into this spiritual work for the past almost 40 plus years, going to 50. And what people say about spiritual money and ritual money, people say blood money, whatever they call it, I have never seen one. It does not exist. But if you want a voodoo or traditional spirituality to help you to become rich or make things happen, there are ways that they can guide you, either by taking baths, doing some special prayers and all these things to attract money towards you, to attract good luck towards you. But to tell you that they will make money and then you go and pack it and become rich overnight, it does not exist.
Okay. So there is no money rituals.
So this is what we were talking about, the Ata, and this is the Worobo, this is the Ata, and this is a V, it's a kind of cola. So this is Ata, a Vilobo.
Okay. Someone here is asking, how can I clean myself of bad things done in the past that is blocking my chances today? And I'll just tag this along with another question that says, do you do divinations for voodoo initiation? So that you can take it to
the question of how can you cleanse yourself, who told you that your bad deeds are disturbing you? That's the first question I will ask. Because you must do a reading. And then the reading will tell you that, oh, maybe this, that is what is blocking your chances in life. That's why things are not happening. If you haven't done that. But if your own self or guilty consciousness is disturbing you for whatever you have done in the past, and you feel that you didn't do well, then you must have to approach a priest, tell the priest, and the priest will give you a guidance to cleanse yourself and probably punish you for whatever you have done.
Okay.
Because in punishment comes cleansing.
So who decides the punishment, and what, for example, would these kinds of punishments be?
Priests. Someone who is a priest has been trained to know what to do. Take for instance someone who has caused abortions in the past, and now these fetuses and children that have been killed in the past, their spirit is now worrying the person, so that whatever the person is doing and is not progressing, and he or she may have gone to a lot of pastors or gone to a lot of priests just to get a breakthrough, but it is not happening. Sometimes it is just that simple action of abortion, that maybe the soul that was coming into the world was supposed to be a savior or someone who is coming to impact on the world some knowledge, but you have terminated its presence. This soul will now go back into the spirit world, but will make sure that you will never have good chances coming your way. And if that is discovered in a reading, then there is a ritual that will be done to pacify that particular spirit, and you, the person who caused the abortion, or those of you who combined to cause the abortion, will be punished in a certain way and cleansed, and their doors will be open.
Okay. Edward Craig is asking, what is the main tool for readings in Voodoo? So earlier on we covered a little bit of the cowrie shells as a form of divination. What are other forms of reading in Vodou?
Oh, there is the mirror in Vodou reading. There is also water reading. People just pour water on the floor and they can divine through it. People fetch water in a calabash and can look into it and tell you or divine or tell you what they see. There is the cowries that we have introduced, and then some people only go into trance and be able to connect with you and be able to listen. That's what is possibly what happens in the Bible, where they say people speak in tongues. Speaking in tongue. But today, speaking in tongue is fashion. It's no more spiritual. A lot of people are telling lies. They pretend to be speaking in tongues, they're saying nonsense that no one can understand, and they keep deceiving themselves and others around them, saying that they are speaking in tongues. Because when you speak in tongue, somebody must be able to understand what you are saying and explain it to people who cannot understand. But when you are speaking in tongues and nobody understanding, and you yourself you are not understanding, then you are really fooling yourself and people around you. So that way of reading is also there, where the priest gets possessed. I know a priest, he's no more alive. He's a Vodou priest. And he has something like this kind of spirit. When you go to him, he will only pray to the spirit and put it on his ear like this, and he'll start telling you everything about you. And he will say it very clear as if he was there with you.
Mm.
So there in Vodou there are many forms of divination or reading. But the basic ones is what we are talking about, the cowries, the mirrors. Even people read leaves. Someone can just pluck a leaf and then look onto the leaf and start telling you your story. Someone can do palmistry. It's not connected with the Indian palmistry, where they are reading the lines. No, the person will just bring your hand and he start telling you your story. So there are many forms, because it depends on the spirit that is giving the information. If the person who is the diviner is really a psychic, having an extra sensory perception, which is the ESP, then he can probably use anything to divine. Like in my case, I can divine at anywhere, at any time, without even using anything. I can just be talking to you and all of a sudden I start telling you your story. Sometimes you will not even know where the information is coming from, and then I will just be telling you. So in Vodou, there are many ways. The only thing I can say is you, the priest, or you, the diviner, you must be very accurate. Be receptive in order to receive the information from whatever Vodou is talking to you. This is Akpo here. This Akpo also talks. But somebody can hold this Akpo for 100 years and will never hear Akpo talking, because he is not receptive to receive.
So what influences how receptive one is, or the accuracy of reception?
It depends on everybody.
What are a few factors that kind of contribute to making one more receptive compared to another person?
We call something a call. In every a call means they give you some guidelines. One is like the one they are talking about, a woman in her menstruation and cooking food for you. Some priests, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll eat it. Not even priests. Maybe some elders, so for me, those things doesn't worry me. But you don't know how and when it can affect you on the psychic plane. Those are some of the reasons why certain people don't eat food cooked by a woman in menstruation, so that they can maintain their chastity, their cleanliness, so that when they are receiving information, the information can be very clear to them.
Okay. So apart from maybe a menstrual cycle, what are other things?
There are so many things. They will tell
like,
you, don't
for example,
eat this food. Don't eat goat. But goat is a very tasty meat, and they are making goat soup, and your nose is picking the flavor. But they say don't eat. But some people will say, hey, this is okay, let me just eat small. You have no. I'm not saying everybody. It depends on individual. There are some people, they say don't eat beans, don't eat this vegetable, don't eat that fruit. But then you feel that, oh, doesn't matter, people are eating and nothing is happening to them, so me too, I can eat it. But it depends on you how receptive you want to be in whatever direction. Sometimes it's not human beings who are telling you not to eat this. It's the spirits that are telling you that don't do this, don't do that. But if you feel that you don't want to follow, they will not force you. And if you cannot receive information from them, don't blame them. Yeah. So Baba Craig should understand. I don't know what kind of regulations and rules that was told him or taught him or said to him not to break. And if he himself can go back to them, he will know. And if he start following them, he will see how close he can be with the spirits and how they can communicate with him.
Okay. All right. So we should start wrapping this up. Sena asked that we should quickly ask you, just very, very briefly, to explain your spiritual journey and this is a very long story, so we just want to get maybe the reasons as to being born into a Christian family, going to Hinduism, and then coming back to Vodou. What was that process like, or why did you come back, I guess, at the end of the day?
You see, there's something the Avis call destiny. I say. And that's why I gave the name to Sena, Ese Na, gift from destiny. Okay? And when I say Ese Yiram, means my destiny blessed me. So there is something in Eve called Ese, which is believed to be the God and the only God that sent human being into this world to do what the Ese had predestined. I was born by a Catholic mother, a Christian father, and a Vodou and Afa grandfather and grandmother. My grandfather was into Afa and into Vodou. He has his own shrine. My father was sent to school. He's a Christian. He's a choir master. He plays the organ in the church and all that. And he became a radio announcer and became a revenue officer at the local council. And that's what my father did. He was not directly into Vodou or into Afa. My mother, on the other hand, is a Catholic, but her sisters and her aunties, her father and her mother, they are all into Vodou priests and priestesses. And I remember very well when I was growing up that my mother had taken me to her sisters and cousins who were priestesses and this thing to bath me, because I was born a sick child. So I always needed attention. So my mother wasn't only going to hospital, she takes me around herbalists and all these things. So I have grown up from this. But then my desire to do the work of God, if we should call him so, was so strong from childhood. That's why at an early age I started strongly with the Psalms in the Bible. I don't like church from childhood. I don't like going to church. It wasn't my something that I like very much, because when I go there, people talk plenty and sit down. I don't know what really I am learning. So from my childhood, I don't, even at school, I don't go to church. I will go to the church, they will mark the register, and after the church starts, I run out and go back home. I took my training there. Then after that, I was sent to Bangkok as a regional priest. I was in charge of Bangkok, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia as a regional priest. I worked sometime to Malaysia and Singapore, and that's what I did. And after some time, I realized that that is not really what I wanted, because it was more another religion. It wasn't the spirituality. So I decided to move out, and then I came back home. I came to my old man, and then they taught me our ways again, and they reintroduced me into our ways, and I have realized that that's where my destiny is. So I will say it in a very simple term, that my destiny has passed me through all this things so that I can come back to do what I am doing today.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the session. I believe we're going to be doing this every Sunday for the next couple of weeks. So if we are not able, let me switch over. If we're not able to answer your question today, we give our deepest apologies and continue to prepare a couple questions, couple interesting questions to be discussed here next week, Sunday. I am your host, Pele Voncujovi, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.